That's hilarious. Okay. Welcome to FPLC. It's usually I love it. It's usually used to separate things by size of charge. So if you're doing psych, analytical, or protein production, or it's also to do some kind of exchange, whether it's iron, heparin, nickel, or any kind of special column. And the general guidelines for these is you always put equilibrate your pump wash and then equilibrate your buffer and then flow through the system. And when you're done using it overall, you all want to just do the reverse: pump wash in water, wash water through the system, pump wash in ethanol, wash the system with ethanol, and then click the stop button. So first we're gonna pretend you come here and you want to do psych. The first thing you'll see is everything is off. You don't do anything yet because all of the inlets are in the storage buffer, which is inside. Sorry, Harrison, you have a lot of walking to do. So all the inlets are in here, and we only use A1 and B1, and it's labeled on here. So the first thing you want to do is take A1, which is this blue line with no bubbles, and put it in here, and B1, which is the yellow line with no bubbles, and put it in water. So now that they're in water, you can first pump wash your pump, which equilibrates it, and then run that water through the system. And to do this, we use the modules that are here. So here it tells you you're selecting A1 and B1, but now you want to actually control the system. So you click here, and we're only using line A today, so we want to pump wash A. And you can tell it will flow at 20 mils per minute, and it'll pump wash. And you know it's actually doing the pump wash because it's been issued, and also the line is green here. And if you peek a look in here, you can see a lot of water coming from the white line, so you know that it's washing through. Okay, so we'll let that go on for a while, but let's say we skip ahead and now you have your protein and you're ready to concentrate. These are all about omicrons. We only use the ones from this row. Please don't pick one from above there because we assume everything from here is in stock. So if we run out of here and we go to pick it and it's not there, it's in stock, and they're usually back ordered for 2 months. So please don't do that to yourself or your lab mates. We have 3 kinds. The first are the small kinds. So let's say you have to do an assay and you accidentally over dilute your protein. You can concentrate it really quickly in 15 minutes. There's the 4 mil, and then there's the 15 mils. We have 3, 10, 30, 50, and 100 kilodalton of all of them. And if you run out of here, please feel free to grab one from here. And if you grab the last of the kind from the up there, please let me know and we'll order more. Great, so now our pump wash is done, and you know this because it says completed pump wash here, and also the line is no longer green. So the next thing to do is actually run water through the system, because right now your system should be in ethanol. So to do this, you just flow at 3 minutes, but you have to click the set flow rate because if I don't, nothing starts. So you put in the number 3 and click set flow rate, and it should be 0% B because we're only using line A. And you know it's flowing through the system because it's going through A, past the pump, past your injector, past the column, and going into the waste. But we're doing psych, so you probably want to wash your line, your injecting loop, which could be 2 mils or 500 microliters. So if you click inject, it's now changing to show you that it's going through the loop before it's bypassing the column. But for psych, all of the methods are set to go downflow. So you want to make sure you click downflow. Please don't flow up because it will disrupt the resin, the column, and the filters. And you can see that it's downflow. So while this is equilibrating, I can explain how it works from the inside. So here it's taking up our line, is going through, it's washing the 2 mil loop, which is here. There's also the 500 mil loops, microliter loops, which are here. And you just change the inlets, and it's going down this column, this line here, and going into the waste, so you can tell because it's dripping in the waste. And please don't remove this line, and if you do for some reason, it needs to be back here when you're done by the end of the day. And we don't exchange this line with the super loop line because if they do, it causes leaking in the super loop eventually, and we just want to avoid that. Okay, so let's pretend the super loop has been washed with water for 10 minutes, and now you're ready to move to the buffer. There are two ways to do this. You can program the machine to pause, which is more complicated, so I'll show you that. Or you can just go here and set the flow rate to 0. To program the machine to pause, you go to Manual, Execute Instructions, Other, and Time. And it'll automatically set it into minutes, but you probably don't want that. So go to Volume, and we'll just set it to 2 mils, and click Execute. And you know it's issued the order because it tells you here 2 mil processing pause. And you can also see this red line, which tells you that it knows from 2 mils from here I will pause. So we'll let it do that. So now that it's in water, the next thing you want to do is switch to your buffer. And with any switch to buffer, we'll first pump wash and then we'll equilibrate the buffer itself. Okay. 2 minutes will come sooner than later. Okay, but you also want to think about how you prep your sample for injection. So anything that goes into the it now has paused. Okay, anything that goes into the machine needs to be filtered in some way. If you're like doing a nickel exchange, you first want to spin it down after you added your buffer A and filter it through these 0.2 micron filters. And let's say you're doing a sec. If it's not like a continuous thing and you take it from the -80, please filter through one of these and then inject. And make sure you're injecting no bubbles. Okay, so now it's paused, and I know it's paused because it's not green, and then it tells you that it's paused. So you just go in here and change line A into your buffer. And then again, you just pump wash A. And when the pump wash A is done, we'll then flow your actual buffer through the whole column. And once that is done, you can now prep to attach to your column. And the way you do this is by flowing at 0.5. And you want to be flowing while you're attaching your column, because if you don't, you'll introduce bubbles and then all the standards will be off and all of our peaks will shift and everybody will be a little sad. So don't do that. Okay, so great example. I pump wash, but it's not going because you can see it's not green. Sometimes this happens and all you have to do is click this play button. And now the machine knows I've told it to pump wash, so it will start pump washing. Okay, while that's going on, the other part of this is how you collect your fractions. So we collect them in these things called fraction collectors, which are here. And the two of these, we have one in here that's cold, but the backup is down there. And if you open the last box, you'll just let me know to make sure I've ordered backups. And it just has number 2, so you'll know from your method how many tubes you need to add, and you always add 5 more tubes to that. Okay, but the more important thing is this can break, not like the actual thing, but the part it's attached to. So if everyone can come in here for a sec. Okay, so you need to be able to place your fraction collector into the part that's connected to the machine. But the issue is, if I were to just drop this, you see how it's unstable. You can push it down, please don't do that, it will break the fraction collector. The way you do it is by this little black knob right here, and you can see it moves back and forth. And when it's back away from you, you can insert thing and move the fraction collector. So the way you do it is you put the fraction collector above the hole, it drops down, but not completely. You reach behind here, you grab the black knob, pull it away from you, and you can see it just naturally drops in. And to move this in any way, you also need to just pull that black valve. So I'm still pulling it. And if I stop pulling it, you see there's resistance. Like it's not moving unless you force it. Okay, so now I've positioned it so the first tube is above the fraction collector and you want to move the fraction arm towards you. So to do this, you just pick this up. It's like a 3-step process. You pick it up towards you and then down against the tube. If you try to pull it towards you, it will break. If you don't go up and down, it will break. And you can feel it because you like this restriction in there. Okay, so now this is set up and thank you. Cool. So another thing that can happen is the system sometimes has memory, sometimes it don't. Because sometimes you'll remember your instructions from your previous thing that you did. So previously we told it to flow at 3 mils and wash through the loop and down the column. So it was just doing that with the buffer. So now we're ready, now that some of the buffer has flown through the machine, to attach the column. To do this, you first need to change your flow rate to 0.5. And then click set flow rate. Check to make sure it's 0.5. It's nothing more, nothing less. And check again to make sure it's flowing down column. Like, that's very important. And now that all of that is good, we can go back inside one more time. And the first thing you want to do is make sure it's actually flowing down. So I disconnect it from the bottom. And from here, you can see the water pooling, making signifying that it's actually flowing down. So I'm ready to attach the column. And we attach the column with this black going to the bottom and this green end attaching to the red. But you don't want to attach it with it being down because air will go in and again everything will shift. So the first thing you do is turn this vertical in this way with the black pointing up. You unscrew the black and still keep this red part up. Screw in the black, and again everything here is at an angle and you shouldn't have to force to screw or unscrew anything. You then take the green line, connect it to the red, and let some of the water collect. And then you want to twist back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and that just gets rid of bubbles as you go down.